Hi everybody. Okay, like I discussed, we're gonna get into classes and agenda, or not agenda. The code for today, what I'm gonna be doing now in coding is I'm just gonna give you a very basic example of how to make class and how to use it in order to make objects. And let's get going. And once I start doing, I think you're gonna be in much better position to understand this. Okay, so first of all, first thing first, import numpy as np, and then you import matplotlib dot pyplot as plt, right? These are necessary things to do. And normally I import pandas as well, so my will need pandas as pd. Won't need it as of now, but there's a ritual. So I'm gonna be making a class and I'm gonna call it line underscore plot, okay, and then just leave it like this, okay, and I might say pass because we don't know what's gonna go inside it. The very first thing, obviously, we need to define a constructor. We don't have to, but this is the best way to move forward. And then I'm gonna say self because I don't know at this point what else is gonna go inside it. Okay, now we are trying to make a line plot. Okay, and for any kind of plot, we have x label, y label, we have title, we have x values, we have y values. So why not put everything inside this? So we're gonna be say x label, we're gonna be saying y label, and then x val, comma y val, and then I'm gonna say in the end title, like so. Okay, and then obviously because it's inside the construction, so I'm gonna be saying self dot x label is equal to x label, and so self dot y label equals to y label, and then self dot x val equals to x val, and self dot y val equals to y val. In case if you don't really understand what I'm doing now, and if you're new, don't worry, just hang in there, you'll get to know. Okay, so this self, so basically we are making a class and we can't really do anything with the class unless we make an object out of it. So once we make object out of it, we can have 10 different objects. So every object's memory will be stored into this self differently. Okay, so it will be a different value. So this is basically just to connect the object with the class, which is why I'm making self. So we don't want all objects to connect in one way, so which is why we have self, and that's how it is. Okay, so now take away this pass. Okay, now because we have filled it up, let's try and go ahead and make a object out of it. So I'm gonna be saying line 1, which is gonna be my object, and I'm gonna be saying line underscore plot, right, and then that's gonna be my object. But now because my constructor is taking these values, so I need to give those values. So my x label, I'm just gonna call my x label as x's, okay, and then my y label, I'm just gonna call it y x's, okay, and then obviously we'll have to give x val and y val, and for that I'm just gonna be defining new variables here. So I'm gonna be saying np dot linspace, and then I'm gonna go from 4 to 8, and then how many values do I need? 5. You can randomly pick stuff. Okay, and then y value is equal to np dot linspace, and which is gonna go from 1 to 3. That's gonna also give me 5 values. So now x val, y val, both are done, so I'm just gonna put them here. I'm gonna say x val comma y val, okay, and also need to give title. To title I'm just gonna say just another plot, yeah, just like so. Okay, now we made this object, right, and let's try and run it in case if we have any errors. No, we haven't. So what I'm gonna do is, okay, this is line 1 is one object, so I'm gonna say what is the title of line 1. Okay, so we access title by saying this, and then I'll say like so, and then when you say line 1, right, so its memory address, this object's memory address is going to go into self, and then it will try and, okay, I haven't given self dot title, okay, is equal to title. So that's gonna fetch me this value. Okay, let's try and print this. Print, oops, completely messed it up. Print, okay, and let's try what we get. So we're getting just another plot, but that's not the agenda, right? We want it to be plotting something for us, and which is specifically line plot. So I'm gonna be saying plotting. Okay, so that's my new function, and I'm gonna call it self, and then what's it gonna do? Well, it's gonna plot me a line plot. The name of the function which we use from plt pyplot to plot the line plot is this. Yeah, so what does it need? It needs your xval. Yeah, I know I'm typing it wrong, but just wait for a minute. Now when you say xval and yval and yval, you defined it here, they're outside the class, right? But then when you passed in as an argument, pass those ones as arguments, so they are held here. But you said self.xval is equal to xval, so you can't really use xval, you'll have to use self.xval. Okay, so that is one thing. So, and I think we are good to go, and then we have to say plt dot show like so. Okay, and let's try and run this, but it's not gonna give you anything. Why? Because we just made an object, right? We never called that function onto this object, so we need to say plotting, and then be careful about this. You have to give this parenthesis, so that's basically telling it to execute the function. But when you don't really give the parenthesis, so you're just accessing the attributes, but both are done by dot separator. Okay, now let's try and see if we are getting anything now. There you go. So you have your plot, and now you might probably ask me, well bro, we put x label, we put y label, and we obviously define the title as well, but we can't see them here. Well, that's because you haven't really given those arguments here, so we're just gonna be doing x label is equal to, I think I've spelled it correctly, I hope so. So I'm just gonna be saying self.x label. Okay, and then likewise I'm gonna say y label equals to self.y label. Okay, like so. So in case if we try and run it again, what happened? Like no property x label. See, this is the problem. Now the problem is this plt.plot, it's gonna take certain set of arguments. Okay, so you just can't, like, we can't club everything together in one, because x label, when you say, one moment, let me just cut this open. Yeah, so when you're talking about x label, what you have to do is you have to say plt dot x label, right? And then you pass in the argument, you're gonna be saying x label, like so. Okay, same way you have to say plt dot y label, and then you pass in the argument self dot y label. So this is how exactly it's gonna be working at. Okay, so you have to be, why I did the mistake, because I wanted to let you know that these are the functions of this object. So plt, okay, so plt object, whatever you're importing it as, yeah, plt dot plot, so that's the method. X label is in itself a method, but what you need to do is you have to just pass in an argument self dot x label, which you already have here. So that's how you're gonna be doing this. Okay, let's try and run it on. Can you see? I think we must be able to see, but you can see x-axis here and y-axis here, and likewise you can also Likewise, you can also do plt.title. I think that's the thing. So you just have to say self.title. Now you might say, like, why go into this all like lengthy process in order to get all this? I'll tell you why. You'll understand why. So see, your title is there. Okay, now in case if you wanted the same graph, you're not going to be changing values, x values or y values. What you need to instead do is, you might probably want to see different lines, okay, different colors. So what you're going to be doing, so you're going to be saying, okay, c is equal to, you create a list and then you pass in the colors. Okay, in pyplot, k stands for string, k stands for black color, b stands for blue color, and then probably red color, okay, like so. Now you want 3 different plots, yeah, and for each of these plots everything else is same. This is the magic. So everything else is same, so you just need different colors of your plot, right? And let me just remove this thing because we've already understood it. So we remove this. Now what I need to do is, I'm gonna be saying for I in range, right? And then in case if you don't want to, if you want to make it dynamic, so you'd say range length of whatever is the c, yeah, and then whatever is the c, and then what you need to do, you will say plot me a line, okay? So you just take this out, cut, paste, right? So you plot same line, okay? So this is just gonna plot line, and then you're gonna be calling the plotting function to plot it, okay? So like so. So it's gonna be plotting, right? Now it's gonna be plotting. Up until now it's just gonna be plotting 3 different lines with the default values. Default value is the blue line, okay? Now because we are not iterating over this one, we are just iterating over the range of this one, yeah. But I need to have another one here, argument, which is going to be taking my color, right? And now I'm gonna say here, okay, my color is equal to color. I know that the spellings are confusing, but that's also when you say color. So in each iteration, so you're gonna be saying plotting, and then you're gonna be picking in the value of I. So ith element. So the first iteration I is gonna be 0, so it's gonna pick in value of C0, which is black, and then the next iteration blue, and this next iteration red. Okay, so let's try and run it on. Come on. So you see we have different color plots, so everything else is same. So that's the power. So once you've already defined, you made the class, so you can create as many number of objects as you wish to, but this is the same kind of object we are trying to plot over and over again with different colors. But you can also have different objects, or you can put methods inside your list, and you can do a lot more, because I think even if you're a machine learning guy or CFD or CAE engineer, you'll have to plot massive things, and you might have to plot on the same graph. So this is exactly how you go about doing this stuff. And I think I'm just gonna cut it here in this video. I think this is good introduction as to how we're gonna be approaching it, and then eventually we'll make it more complex, probably involve some kind of inheritance and other things which are specifically obviously the super method, how we're gonna be using init function of one class into the other, so that kind of stuff. But as of now, just in case you haven't really understood something, I would advise you to watch it again so that you really understand, because the next step which will be building upon this one, that's going to be a bit heavy. And so in case if your basics are clear, I think you'll be good to go. Anyway, thank you, take care, bye.